close. But we'll find out. We're getting into the game pretty much right now. Let's see how this one's going to play out. We are starting on Border. This is only a best of one. So the first series of the night will be played on Border. Something I think we're not going to be too unfamiliar with after last season. And of course, let's not forget, you get operator bans this season as well.
Yeah, just a little clarification for you guys at home. We did have a ban phase. We don't have any ban graphics, but I'll just run down them quickly. We had Guidance Gaming starting off the bans. They banned Oregon. Wind and Rain responded with a Clubhouse. Guidance Gaming then banned out Bank. Villa being banned out by Wind and Rain. It came down to Consulate, Coastline and Border. Guidance Gaming eliminated Consulate, and then it was left between Coastline and Border, where Border did end up being the map we will have, and that's certainly what we're getting into tonight.
No, they just banned Matt Andrews. Pulse is now gone. Maverick and Thatcher, the other two bans you've seen come through for the operators. This feels like home speaking about bans, but there we go. And we spoke a lot about this on Saturday when we cast a few games, that Maverick is pretty much going to be a perma ban coming into this.
Yeah, Maverick is an extremely strong operator, maybe not so much on Border for my liking. Typically, he's a lot stronger on the map. For example, Clubhouse is very, very strong because you're attacking a lot of these different reinforced walls that can be bandit tricks. Sure, Maverick can get his work done over towards that armory side, but for the most part, I wouldn't really say that's a very dangerous pick. Other two coming out is a bit strange. We do see the Thatcher being banned out, which... bit of a weird one. It is a bit of a surprise. And then Pulse, yeah, a lot of destructibility on this map as well. Denial from below, and then Mira is always going to be banned out. I don't expect us to see a Mira getting played this evening. Yeah,
and what you said about Pulse there, I was going to touch on myself as well, but you picked up on it quite quickly, is that, as you say, it has been used a lot on Border last season, so no real big surprise why it's been banned away here as well. We spoke a lot about Smoke being banned away as well because of that area denial that he provides, but in this case, being left up on the board for either of the well, not either team, for the defending team to pick up. It looks like Blackout is going to roll out with that one. What do you make of this setup so far, Demo?
Looks pretty standard for me. There's nothing really there that I can say, oh yeah, that's pretty new. You know, you have, for this downstairs, you need the castle simply because if you want to hold that upstairs successfully, you don't have the mirror window available because she is banned out, then certainly, yeah, these castle barricades will make it just a little bit harder for the players of Wind and Rain to get themselves into, you know, good position. And certainly, typically, we see castle being played to, you know, drive in that very hard bathroom extension into that bomb site. So certainly that's going to be where a castle barricade and, you know, that kind of extension will be played. It just gives the defenders just that little bit more of a safety net, a fallback area. You can get some really nice sight lines all the way in to the B bomb site as well. Nothing out of the ordinary at the moment for Guidance Gaming that I can really see. Looking at Wind and Rain, their attack, pretty scary with that glass.
Yeah, glass was one of the interesting ones. Of course, the changes that came through a long time ago now, being able to see through the smokes. We did see, at least with some of the operators, they had smokes taken away because it was very present for a lot of the time, we could say. So still has its uses, but are definitely more limited by the number of smokes that are now available to the attackers.
So what are we really looking at here from Wind and Rain? Newly just picked up. So see if they can do their new org proud. They did qualify for the second qualifier. That's kind of where they qualified from. Everybody else from Guidance Gaming, they did qualify with inside the first qualifier. First set of teams that did get into the Premiership. More than likely, I'm looking at, you know, Wind and Rain. They're going to try and establish a bit of a beachhead in towards the office area. Reinforced walls are going to make that just a little bit more trickier for these players of Wind and Rain to physically get themselves in towards that archives area. And already a minute gone for the side of Wind and Rain.
Something like you said to me last season, Demo, if in that first minute or so a roamer can at least draw attention away from the attacking side and keep them away from the objective, then generally you're doing a pretty good job. If you get to a minute and a half and 2 minutes, that's when you start forcing the attacking team to make mistakes that can cost them the round. So that's what you're going to see from Guidance Gaming here, is just trying to slow them down a little bit in terms of their assault, just try and keep them guessing for a while as to what's going on, where everyone's going to be. Already we're down to about halfway time through and only just starting to make their entry inside the building.
1C4 will be tossed out by the Valkyrie downstairs, but doesn't manage to land the target, potentially looking out for a Thermite to go ahead and open up that archives wall. Dow already in a bit of a dangerous position for himself as he can get crossfired quite heavily in towards that back of the armory. So if Bandit was to get just a little bit frisky, he could potentially get an early pick for his team. So already, again, more time being wasted, just over a minute to go, and already the Glass will use his first smoke canister to start looking in to see if he can get a couple of those banana figures spotted out. But nothing at the moment. Very, very slow approach from Wind and Rain.
It's all very, very slow so far. Losing one of those smokes as well, pretty crucial when you're burning that into the ADS. And I've got to say, these members on the defensive side, they've really took themselves in here, showing almost nothing to the attacking side. You can see Speeds is consistently trying to look for someone to tag through that sniper, but catching absolutely no one, finds himself in a very difficult spot. They might just have to try and rush in here and go for a play.
Yeah, Pat will take the first approach, just say, we need to do something, and he does go ahead and fall in. Castle Barricade will get eliminated from behind him, and Harris will peek in. Great kill from the Castle, establishes another crossfire in the glass. He will also start spraying in.
Oh!
He will get the better. Double kill for Vexed. Big kills from the Bandit, puts in the favour of Guidance with only 20 seconds to go. Gig is going to try and rotate in towards the passport check, and also Melons will open up a wall in towards the A-bomb. Jaeger will be there to potentially try and get the kill for an aggressive run-out. All starting to look very bad for Wind and Rain.
There you go, 20 seconds on that final spray down as well. 4 versus 1. Looks like it's over in this first round. There we go. First round going across to Guidance Gaming. And as you can see, the colours a little bit switched up there. We'll get that fixed for you and jump straight back into the action in 2 seconds. But a very dominant defensive round, just holding those anchor positions down, leaving no room for the attacking side to really make those aggressive moves without being punished.
Upstairs hold isn't really that uncommon. Most teams know how to play it because it's been there since, Border. Very, very old map. Added in year 1, season 2 to the map pool. A lot of teams know how to attack that. Wind and Rain just so slow on the approach. They didn't really decide to pincer and try and get some crossfires established. Possibly had your Thermite go over in towards that security, open up that armor wall, just create more entryways for your team, and then you really get the pinch going, and then the defenders, they either have to stay, possibly get a kill for himself, but then more than likely will get refragged from the crossfires, or they just completely give up control of upstairs, use the rotation in the hatch, and then from there, Wind and Rain, they have all the time to open up above. We know how destructible Border can be. So yeah, definitely Wind and Rain, you need to look back at that and think, why are we so slow?
I mean, the slow thing really kind of came to it quite ironically when Speeds, playing on the glass, charged in, had his cursor over the head of Vex, and Vex was like, oh, okay, well, bang, okay, that's one dead, and then someone else followed in immediately after Speeds died as well. That was 2 kills that realistically should never have gone across to the side of Guidance Gaming. That should have been a kill for Speeds. If you're playing this glass and you're still losing out on those one-shot kills, or realistically, maybe you've got to try and change things up. But we'll see how they do. Of course, you do play the same round 5 times over in essence, where you'll see Guidance Gaming playing on defensive 5 rounds, and then we can switch. Let's not forget, most importantly, the demo, this can go to a draw if it ends at 5-5. Yeah,
of course, the new rules. That was a step by ESL back in last season for the Pro League. Makes things a lot more interesting with the draws and whatnot. And Guidance Gaming, they're going to actually take up arms inside of that customs defense. A bit puzzling because we know the Armory is still available for Guidance Gaming, and typically Armory is the most played bomb site on this map. Typically for the customs, you're expecting to see some very, very top-heavy control of that security, which Guidance Gaming will be establishing. Typically, Mira windows are extremely strong for this bomb site, but we know Mira is not going to be available for them. So it does make life just a tad more difficult, but nonetheless, we'll see if they can just waste the time, which is all about these top-heavy controls of that top floor, is just to try and waste time, waste utility, possibly try to get a couple of picks for your team as well. Always comes in handy, but they still have to be cautious, as this Guidance Gaming team definitely do have the edge just in terms of gun skill, because they've been about just that little bit longer than Wind and Rain have.
Again, trying to take it, so like you said, slowing it down a little bit too much last round. It wasn't really the urgency there that we expected from them on that first opening round, and Guidance Gaming were just happy to soak it up and play around it. But this time round, a couple of scouts coming in. They know where a couple of members are currently sitting, so they can try and pinch on that room if they want to and bring down 2. Just got to make sure they do it with better execution than what they did in the last round.
Still nothing on the board yet for Wind and Rain, just trying to see where some of these potential players will be stationed. You do see that Lone Castle being played over in that Armory. It just means that this is another area that Wind and Rain have to worry about. It gives Guidance Gaming that little bit of security, because then you do have options for flanks potentially coming out from Harris on this castle. And it just makes it, really awkward for the attacker, because they know we have to push this guy first before we even attempt to take security, because then you'd leave yourself open to those potential runouts coming out from the Armory, and, just that potential flank that simply Castle could just go ahead, impact his own castle barricades and run out and kill you, like we seen him do last round as well. But he has decided to take the safer position, fall back in. Very, very aggressive position Gig is taking, as he could potentially get ran out on from that waiting room, but his team do have that covered with a minute to go. Wind and Rain, still slow.
It's still the same story, though, where Guidance Gaming don't need to move. They're just holding down their anchor positions. They're not even being able to get the drones in there for the scouting either. This is the problem is that Wind and Rain are burning so much time trying to deal with a couple of guys upstairs. They're not even having to worry about the downstairs just yet. Now they're finally starting to make a move down, but with 45 seconds left, again, this is where teams start making mistakes, where Guidance Gaming, just by sticking put and not being phased by the aggression coming out of Wind and Rain, they're actually in a good position here to potentially take this round as well. Already opening up the first kill, bringing down one, trading back immediately. These kills are going all the way back, left and right and center, but it looks like it's Guidance Gaming once again, bringing them down to a 4 versus 1. Okay, Pat gets one back, but it feels like it's going to be a bit of a consolation kill when there's only 20 seconds on the clock, and he does not have the diffuser.
Yeah, all Pat can really go for is get himself a couple of kills, really impactless kills at this stage. He's never going to win the round from
KDA player, let's go.
Yeah, just pretty much KDA. But, you know, he tries his best. He could just sit here and save that Castle Barricade as well, so it's going to slow him down just a little bit more. 3 seconds on the clock. Does get one kill for himself, but, of course, impactless kills nonetheless. And Guidance Gaming take another round for themselves inside a border.
Again, just very clean, very clinical by Guidance Gaming to start things off. This is a 50-50 match when it came down to the fan polls, but so far it seems the team that are being forced to panic and are taking things a bit too slow, Wind and Rain, whereas Guidance Gaming, again, just standing very firm, not being dissuaded or being pushed away almost by Wind and Rain. They're more than happy to stay in those locations. And let's not forget, it was still about the 45th second remaining in that round where they finally managed to get into that upstairs room and start clearing members out. It's far too late then to go for that final rush because you're going to get caught out by the anchors who are still waiting downstairs.
Yeah, you did see that Melons did try and open up that wall into that customs, that quad wall. He did manage to get it open, but straight away, because he didn't have the upstairs control that allowed players like Blackout to sit in those ankle locations inside the customs and, you know, just sit there and pick away. Wind and Rain always have to remember, you're going against a smoke, which is the biggest denial operator we have inside of the game. If you haven't made any moves by 30 seconds, you may as well count that as a loss because those gas canisters will really come in to hurt you in that late game. So it's just a matter of how quick can Wind and Rain go. You can see they're getting set up, kind of going for the push, but nobody wants to. You don't see any main entry fragger for Wind and Rain, and then they start to panic, and everybody knows whenever a player starts to panic, that's where you make the most mistakes, and that's what Wind and Rain are showing.
So it feels Guidance Gaming going to mix things up this time round on their defensive round, bringing the Ella to the table and also the Echo. And we saw this a bit on the weekend. We cast a few games and did see quite a few Echoes at least coming out, more so for anything else on the interrupt on the plant. That's where it gets interesting because you've got the smoke and the Echo, so you've got that double disruption or the double stall if you want, if nothing else. Again, they know that Wind and Rain are kind of making these last-minute moves, and maybe Guidance Gaming are thinking here, well, there's every opportunity for them here to get something right. If the scenario falls right for them, they could easily clean out a few members and get the defuse down. Let's make sure we've got the tools to deny that if it comes round to it.
Personally, I would have liked to see a potential Maestro pick being brought out by Guidance Gaming. At this stage, Guidance should know, oh yeah, we see a lot of potential glass and smokes being brought to the table, which is exactly the Dokkaebi and that glass combo that we see Wind and Rain running. So those Maestro cameras do allow to see through those smokes and does give that entire intel. We know he's not banned as well, so possibly Maestro could be another denial operator. Quite a big one as well. A lot of teams do like bringing Maestro. Teams there like Ints inside a Challenger League, they pick Maestro every chance they get because he's so strong in what he does. He provides all that utility with the gadget, and also that bailiff, that secondary sidearm shotgun does come in just a little bit handy for destructibility factor, that kind of the same way that smoke has a lot of utility in that sense. So possibly I would have liked to see Valkyrie being switched out for the Maestro, but then again, maybe they value the more aggressive playstyle with these portable cameras that can be thrown just up high in a ceiling, tricky places that potentially these players of Wind and Rain will not be ready for.
Absolutely. Well, once again, very slow first opening minute. Wind and Rain not trying to do anything too crazy. Guidance Gaming equally still sitting back, feeling no real pressure to make any moves themselves. When you're 2-0 up, of course, why would you feel under pressure at all? But what do you think, based on how this is going as well, we've seen them mix around their bomb points once or twice now as well. What do you think on the side of Wind and Rain, except for needing to move a bit quicker, they need to do to bring this back?
They're not getting the crossfires established. They're all pushing in from one way. They don't have, you know, these angles set up where if Jaeger, say for example, Kendrew gets a kill here on the Dow, if that was to happen, then they need to get an automatic refrag to keep the numbers game equal, because if you let a team gain that numbers advantage, you're just going to get overwhelmed. That Wolfpack mentality will then be established by that team. But I am liking this a little bit more quicker pace from Spades, but nonetheless Harris will be there holding the long angle with the echo. Little peek hole there, quite interesting. We usually see that wall being reinforced sometimes, but it gets the job done, and still, Wind and Rain just too slow.
Almost getting a second there as well. At least Dowie trying to bring one down to at least even the score out somewhat for his team, but before he could do it, someone else on his own team drops. And the member of Guidance Game makes a safe escape. Oh, gets down there as well. Not quite going to die from it. Yes, he does. Dowie gets one. Vex, the double kill hero from round 1, will go down. But with 40 seconds on the clock, while the 3 members of Wind and Rain, they've got to start making moves, Demo.
Yeah, 30 seconds on the clock. They always have to worry about those smoke canisters and also that Echo drone, which is ever looming. Pat has got himself into a better location trying to get those crossfires established, but he is trying to take a one-on-one fight with someone who knows where he is, as it will be that Echo blackout puts another nail on the coffin, as that lid is ever so tightly being shut for the players of Wind and Rain. Down another kill for him. Pat trying to make things work, actually gets an impact kill as well, but then there you see the shotgun, the FO12 being brought out by Hayes will do the damage on the Dowie, and there we go, another kill for him as well, coming in with that big old semi-shotgun.
Promising signs though. Wind and Rain at least starting to show signs of life here in that final round. The 2v1, still an unfavourable situation, but you mentioned it yourself. Pat getting on that angle from the side, getting the flank down. That at least shows that over these 3 rounds they are starting to work things out, and as you say, those crossfires are starting to play into their favour a bit more, because that was the first round where they brought 3 down.
Yeah, you can see that it actually did work. So this is where Wind and Rain should think, hold on a minute, we actually got some kills that round. How about we do it again, but a little bit quicker? That's the main thing. They're just taking so slow. Maybe the mentality factor where they potentially, I don't want to say the word fear Guidance Gaming potentially. Do they think these guys are better than us? Do we really want to peak aggressive? Go for it. They're just players. They could be the same level as you. Who knows? And at the moment, you're giving Guidance Gaming that entire space to walk all over you. This is Guidance Gaming's playground. They can do what they want, and they're even going to bring a Clash as well, which is an extremely strong operator inside of the meta currently. She provides all that intel with that shield, and she's really more of just an annoying operator to deal with.
Yeah, we're probably more playing, I think, strong favour of Wind and Rain, given they've been playing very together so far, but of course, on the attacking side, that is not available to you. But what is available is Lion, and you said on the weekend that this is something we would often see banned away alongside Maverick, for example, but in this case, it's been let through.
Yeah, quite a surprising one. Lion does have the highest ban rate of any attacking operator. I actually believe he is tied with Glaz, if I'm not mistaken, from the Pro League stats last night. Actually, I think it was Monday night. I believe Glaz and Lion both had 44% inside of the NA Pro League. So certainly both of them being very highly valued as target bans. This time we're not seeing it being brought through. It's quite funny that we see Glaz being not banned, Ying not being banned, Dokkaebi not being banned, and then Lion just to put the cake on the top of that as well. It's very, very scary that we're seeing teams actually let through all of these devastating operators with those universal abilities, which can completely turn the tides of battle into your favour. It's a bit of a tricky one for me.
Thing is, in my thinking behind taking the Lion here for Wind and Rain is that obviously they're thinking, well, if we can push and play aggressive, then if they try and run, we'll know exactly where they are. My issue with that is Guidance Gaming aren't moving. They have no reason to. They're just holding angles, and as soon as someone tries to push in, well,
they have a clash.
1 or 2 easy kills. They have no reason to do anything. And like you say, the clash there is going to be standing still in the doorway, blocking any real attempt at trying to move in. A couple of members obviously keeping an eye on the back of the clash in case that shield does get bashed out the way. Nothing huge to worry about, I think. And okay, 50 seconds in, Wind and Rain are inside. They're starting to get their angles down, which is good. Now they've got to try and turn this into at least a bomb threat within the next 60 seconds or so.
Even if those E1D charges do get used by the Lion, Clash can still walk about. You can shoot her all you want. You can't kill her. She can move, be spotted. Doesn't matter. She has a bulletproof shield that she can stand there, give the callouts, pester you, just slow down that attack. Because typically, whenever a Lion charge get used, as a defender, you automatically think, oh, they're going to just rush in. Clash completely nullifies that effect, which is so strong in many circumstances. It has picked up the pace just a little bit for Wind and Rain, but still no frags. Clash is still alive, being supported by Vex there as well. Very deadly position in the back of that lockers.
The first smoke coming out about 1 minute 35, so already Guidance Gaming thinking, well, we've got to throw one down here, got to start blocking some areas in denial, get some more members out of the way. It's like you said, that Clash just being there just really inhibits him trying to go for this attack, and my concern here is that Giggsy, playing on this Ashe, he's attacking from the same angle as everyone else. You're not using this Ashe for the rotations, which is so strong for being a 3-speed, of course, with the gadget to be able to get through walls. Here comes the first line deployment. And there goes the first kill. Finally, Wind and Rain draw first blood in a round.
Still have to worry about one more, and Pat, excellent shot with him, using those angles to the best of their ability. They have to worry about a potential run-out coming in from Harris, like the way he did the first round. We did see a down come out from a player of Wind and Rain, but it was not finished off, and this is certainly looking to be Wind and Rain's potential round, but they still have to worry about a potential lurk and roam game coming in from that customs area, and also, of course, Smoke in that very strong position of that bathroom that we did mention earlier, where you can kind of sit back, relax, and wait until these players do push into you. Time is still ticking down. Every single bit of these seconds that they're just trying to figure out what they want to do. They need to get the wall open, more importantly, as certainly Melons need to get into a better position. A couple of shots come out from the Jaeger, but 15 seconds to go. This is going to be tight.
Got to go for this big push in now. Like we say, this has been Wind and Rain's problem all game long. He's not moving quickly enough, and already they find themselves with 10 seconds to go. They're making mistakes. They're getting picked out. Blackout finds one. Hayes finds the second. They're into a 3 versus 3 with 4 seconds to go. I don't think they can do it, but yes, they managed to pick up 2 final kills. Pat, with a big double kill towards the end, will win the first round for Wind and Rain.
Just shows the sheer power that Lion does bring to the table. I'd say if they didn't have that Lion, they would not have won that round. It shows how strong he is, that it can completely turn a team around like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see it one more time for the final attacking round for Wind and Rain. And there you go, Speeds will be picking that up. So just one more round to go until we get that halftime switch, where we will see Guidance Gaming go for those attacks, and then it will be Wind and Rain going for the defenses. So this is going to be a pretty big one. If Wind and Rain do win this round, it gets them back just that touching distance to Guidance Gaming. But yeah, if Guidance Gaming, they take this round, they just kind of run away with it at that stage. 4-1, you only have to win 2 more rounds to win the match. Even 1 round, you get yourself a point at least.
Gigsky changing away from the Ashe compared to last round. Currently sitting on that Glass, looking to change away as well. What's the thinking behind Kendry bringing Doc to the party here for Guidance Gaming?
Well, mostly Doc. He's a bit of a niche pick. It's something that we don't see all too often. Kind of him and his counterpart, the Rook. They are, kind of known as, the thick boys of Siege, where they, sit back, relax with the MP5 ACOGs. They chill out. I would say Doc does have that little bit more of an edge inside of the current meta compared to the Rook, simply because you can boost your teammates up with that heal, and also being able to down, or just say revive a down teammate from across the map, especially on a very wide bomb site such as the Ventilation Room and Workshop, then yeah, it does give you that little bit of potential. And it will be, I would say, more of a hard anchor position that Wind and Rain need to think about, because it is very, very difficult trying to challenge a very tanky medic who can heal himself back up and then go for the peaks again. Does cause just those little bit more issues, and it's a bit of a weird one, but certainly I think it can work in the scenario where they are having issues with, fighting these long angles against these ACOG operators in the form of Pat and also Gig.
Wind and Rain side, they're thinking, well, no real reason to change things up. If it ain't broke, why try and fix it? They're going to go for the same sort of strategy again. What I'd like to see this round, though, is Gigsky at the very least is try and find more of those angles on the Ashe, because as we said last round, they're pushing in from basically the same location. You weren't being able to utilize the speed that Ashe has available to her. That's one of the main reasons why she's so potent. If you're not using that, you may as well take something that's got a bit more survivability, maybe a bit more range, a bit more combat power on it, as it might be.
Yeah, they do bring both Sophia and Ashe. They're kind of the same operator, where they both have, that soft breach launcher, and then also Ashe just has that edge in terms of she's a lot more flexible with the speed she has the better gunner for C. Arguably one of the best guns in the game, and especially with those recoil changes that did happen in the last patch. Her gun with an ACOG has no recoil whatsoever if you can control it right. So it definitely does melt a lot easier. Sophia, she does add that little bit more utility in terms of those concussion grenades that she gets, which is great for attacking, people in anchor positions. Great utility. Harris, C4 kill. He's been trying that for quite a while, and he finally does manage to nail one, as Dari will fall. So that's going to be a bit of soft destruction. The big soft destruction who could have came in and started ripping up this destructible floor. Vex, he has changed from the Bandit to the Jaeger. Better gun in many terms for fighting these long angles. And Wallbang, the Wolf of Wallbang, we'll call him from now on. That was a wonderful kill from the castle. And does square things up in Guidance Gaming's favour.
Beautiful spray down that wall. Not that it really matters too much, because they're still getting completely cleaned up here. Guidance Gaming saying, hey, you want to take a round? We're going to show you how we're going to win this next round straight back off you. And a very decisive round for them. That was a very clean C4 as well. They're saying, you ban away our pulse, we don't care. We'll take the Valkyrie, we'll use the cameras, and as soon as we see you in the right spot, well, you're going to go down pretty quickly. Going into round 6, then we're going to switch sides. Of course, it is 4-on-1, so Guidance Gaming only need to win 2 rounds on the attack to clinch this series.
That was a very good flawless defense from Guidance Gaming. They did play that little bit more aggressive, I would say, compared to what they usually did. They thought, yeah, looking at Wind and Rain, these guys are actually pretty slow. How about we take the fight to them? We try and catch them by surprise. You've seen Harris getting the kill from below is always going to be a big kill, and with Dow being one of those main entry fraggers, it just means that somebody else is going to have to step up and fill those shoes. He may not be as comfortable in doing so, but we'll see how the defense go for Wind and Rain. Possibly we might see a reverse sweep. That's what happens in Siege. Anything can happen, but it's still going to be a very momentous task for these guys to actually get themselves back into the driver's seat, because at the moment they're locked into the trunk and guidance game and they're running away with it.
Well, no huge sweeping changes, still three very familiar picks there in the Jaeger, the Echo, and of course the Castle, but a slight change here as well, the Bandit's being brought to the party alongside Alibi.
Alibi is a bit of a weird one. Definitely an operator that we don't see pull too often. I wouldn't say that we never see her, because yeah, we do see her sometimes. She just provides that kind of unique roamer aspect where sure, she has a free speed with a great gun, has that utility with the Bailiff, who can make these destructible holes like I did mention that Maestro can do also, and she kind of just has those prismas which are a little bit tricky to deal with sometimes. Alibis would leave them in the middle of doorways, where if you're pushing in as an attacker, you never want to aim away and look at, you know, the floor. If you know somebody's right beside you, possibly you might accidentally walk into them, which can be detrimental. She just provides us that little bit more of tricksterness, as you know, that kind of sneaky potential. But I don't really see her doing a whole lot of damage unless we can see Dow do some work with that Storm.
We'll see if it's of any use to them here in particular. I guess in this case for Wind and Rain, you've got to try and catch Guidance Gaming at least by surprise someone if you want to be able to pull this one away. Guidance Gaming running out the gate with Glaz on side. It wasn't super successful for Wind and Rain on their attacking rounds. Guidance Gaming, Kendra in particular, clearly thinking, well, I can show some magic here with this operator.
Yeah, Glaz a very big, strong operator. Everybody does fear him. Has been quite a staple in most teams, and that's why we kind of see him up there with very big ban rates. Teams don't like to play against him for the most part, simply because he just has that distinct advantage. And if you combo him with a couple more smoke grenade operators, possibly Montagna or Dokkaebi, then certainly it does scream for a very nasty combo, and just you simply cannot stop it. Even if, you know, gas cannons does get thrown in, doesn't stop him either, because he can just look through that as well. Do you see Dow go down so that Alibi doesn't really do anything at that stage? And you can see the difference in, you know, the pace being picked up by the attacking team. They've already certified themselves with this beachhead. You can start ripping in and trying to catch out some members. And great shot, however, from Gig does eliminate that. Laz takes the kill, and that's all he's going to take as he does drop on down. And just taking it slow just a little bit more, but that does provide all of that advantage to Guidance Gaming to go ahead, take control of this security room and start ripping up that floor.
Well, the Notable's outside behind them now as well. He's going to get so... He actually gets a kill as well, Pat! Let's not forget! Hey, there we go. Walks straight into the Claymore. But he was walking in as his team's top fragger with 6 kills coming out of the half, so he was one of the big performers for them. And delivering big there, even when they know where he is. Basically that permanent lion scanner in motion when you're outside, still manages to secure a kill. That's unfortunate.
Just completely catches out Melons there. Surprised that Melons wasn't ready for that. It's very common. You never stand beside a drone wall, as he can be very easily taken out just as it was. 30 seconds to go, it will be a 2-on-3. Echo still alive, which could be the big factor, but then again, if Guidance Gaming just want to opt to push in towards that supply closet, which is more than likely where they're going to want the plant, as it's better in terms of establishing crossfires, then yeah, certainly it will come down pretty close, and we'll see if the Echo can do some work with that yokai drone.
Let's see what they get away with. Oh, it's your bug.
What did I tell you?
You mentioned on the weekend, you said it happens. It is a bug that Demo explained to me. He's so kind to explain these things to me. It does happen sometimes. Ubisoft are aware of it. It's a known problem. Don't panic. The game isn't dead. We'll be able to get back in just a second.
We missed that round. That's very, very sad.
That's touching hard. We do have a second observer PC, so I don't know.
Well,
fingers crossed.
You literally just connect back into the game. It's fairly easy, but yeah, very, very unfortunate. FM chat. Always need to get the FM chat. It's a bit of a custom here, and there you go. We're going to be back in. It takes very quick, but we don't know how that was going to go. I couldn't really call where that was going to head. Could Wind and Rain potentially had that breakthrough, but no, it will be going to a match point. So now we know that Guidance Gaming did win that attack, and they will at least secure themselves a point and potentially go on to take this win 6-1 against Wind and Rain, or unless Wind and Rain can pull 4 rounds on the trot to make it a draw.
As it stands, it's Pat and Hayes leading up the top number of kills for their respective teams so far. Strong performances across the board, though, you got to say, especially for Guidance Gaming. Every single member definitely contributing in towards the kills their team need to be winning out those rounds. Of course, we always remember Vex from that first round with that nice double kill that really kind of got the ball rolling for Guidance Gaming and gave them that momentum to get to where they are now. This is potentially the final round, don't forget. This could be it for Wind and Rain, at least in their first game of the winter season of the ESL Rainbow Six Premiership. For Wind and Rain, I imagine you don't want to go out here in a 6-1. You want to pull back some rounds and show that you can still compete and you can still stack up to this level, because like you pointed out, those 4 teams that we saw on the left-hand side of the schedule bracket, they're all PC teams. Again, Team Secret, one of the top teams in the world as well, as something to consider. And you still want to show, if you're Wind and Rain, if you're anyone else in the Premiership, that you can compete with these top teams and aren't to be written off in future weeks.
So this will potentially be the final round of our first match, and we'll be going for an armory defense. We did see Wind and Rain attempt that custom gold, just didn't work for them. They didn't have that upstairs secured enough. You could see the difference of pace where for Guidance Gaming, they knew straight away, okay, let's take control of archives, let's push into armory, let's kill a guy, and then we simply beached that security room from there, and that's exactly what they did. They took what they wanted and they did it well. Wind and Rain, this is going to be the armory, which is, I would say, you know, the strongest bomb site we do have on border. Haven't seen any bathroom tellers, which is another bomb site which does see play, simply because that customs can be just a little bit more tricky to defend without a mirror window, and teams have liked to favour towards the bathroom, which is always the good thing about the new objective parameter, where if you win 2 defensive bomb sites, you have to go for a different one. So certainly that's why we see the uprising customs defense and also the bathroom and tellers, because previously on border it was always armory, ventilation room, armory, ventilation room. We never seen any difference, and you could say that a lot for any map currently inside the map pool.
I mean, it's kind of a big difference in that last round for me, at the very least, was with Guidance Gaming, every single time you switch to a different player, they couldn't see another one of their own team members. They were always taking different angles, finding little cheeky spray downs through the holes where the drones go through, getting it through walls, random spray downs. Of course, we saw Kendra get picked off in a brilliant shot coming back the other way. But they were always trying to find those different angles to keep Wind and Rain guessing, and that was the key part of that round. 2 minutes in, they're already finding themselves in positions to start pushing onto these bombs already. The explosives are going off as well. No big rush yet. And that's probably the most important thing, is, again, not panicking and trying to take things too quickly. With 2 minutes on the clock, you can afford to take your time.
Yeah, they do have, you know, they're starting to work on that double wall. They have Haze stationed out just simply to possibly watch a bit of crossfires. But more importantly, did go and get rid of those bandit charges, which allowed Harris to start getting themselves in. Vexed, he will pick up that kill as Pat did try to escape from that half-wall area. One of the hardest positions for an attacker to deal with, but I'm quite surprised Pat kind of let up control of that, as there's only no frag grenades that really he has to worry about. He could have stayed there a little while longer, but that will possibly cost his team the round at this stage.
You have the defuse just inside the door. If it was a diffuser down just inside the door if you wanted to, or the bomb down just inside the door would be ideal, but obviously aware that there's going to be someone lurking just around the corner, and as soon as they hear it go down, well, likely going to be a running spray out. Needs to be careful about the smoke. I was just about to say, that smoke, of course, as we said about before, can delay for a good 20-30 seconds if you manage to get enough of those cannons down.
Still a very early one, as that's only going to be 1 minute left, with only 2 gas canisters remaining as well. He's going to have to try and save it for these smoke grenades. His Glaz, he does get down, trying to push on in, but it will be Fermite taking the lead advantage. Hage will get one onto Melons. Gig in a perfect position, but no, swings on around and kills Gig as well. Diffuser will be planted by himself also. 40 seconds. Die and Speeds just down the Speeds as Kendrew gets the kill on the Glaz. Speeds gets one for himself, but no, cannot find the last. And he will go on a rampage that round, and Guidance Gaming will take the first win of the ESL